Our topic today is Baby, You're a Star. Raising young children with good self-esteem. And we're going to talk about some of the do's and don'ts of raising kids who have great self-esteem.
This is On the Couch with Dr. K, a show focused on answering the questions of urban and hip-hop adults rising to reach personal stars in daily life. Now, here's your host, Dr. K.
And good afternoon. You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K. I am your hostess, Dr. K, right here on AM 990 Talk Radio, KWAM. And welcome to the show. We have an awesome topic today, and I have two super awesome people with me this afternoon in the studio. And we always start with ladies first. So I will start with you, Dr. McClendon. Please introduce yourself to us.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Deanna McClendon, and I'm the Director of Early Childhood Programs for Shelby County Schools.
All right. Thank you so much. And going right around.
Hi, I'm John Lovelace. I'm the Strategic Manager for Shelby County Early Childhood Programs.
All right. Great. So I'm sure you've heard those terms, early childhood, and that is what we are focusing on today. And I can already tell you one great do is to make sure they have a very good preschool experience like the one offered by Shelby County Schools, their preschool program. And you want to tell us a little bit about that,
yes,
Dr. McClendon?
We're really excited to be able to offer about 5,300 students an opportunity to attend early childhood programs.
Wow, okay.
We have sort of a hybrid approach. We have some classrooms that are actually in school locations.
Okay.
We also have Head Start centers that we contract with Porter Leaf. Mm-hmm. And we also have very good community partners where we are unable to have classroom seats because the buildings are at capacity. We do look for partnerships in the community. And so in that method, we are able to offer about 5,300 students that early childhood programming.
That is excellent. That is excellent. Did you want to add something, Mr. Lovelace?
Yes, I think this design offers us an opportunity to impact early childhood throughout Shelby County, and I think that's our goal, to make sure that each child in this county have an opportunity to have a positive and a quality experience as it relates to early childhood.
Right, and this is just so important. I know people have thought about it even within the political arena about where money's going to go, and I'm sure all of us can agree, even if we have different approaches to how we're going to fund it or how we're going to administer the programs, we all can agree that our babies are our future and we want them to have the very best start in life they can have. Yes, go ahead.
Absolutely. We often look at studies from students who have not had what we call or think of as early childhood learning experience, or even just rich conversations at home and puzzles and games with their parents. And so we see them come in a public school district in the kindergarten at a really big deficit.
Right.
And so a couple of things, and why we were so excited to be approached about coming on the show today, is we want to encourage our parents with doing lots of things to build before they even get to 3- and 4-year-old programming. And then we want the opportunity to help support what they've already begun at home through our programming with 3- and 4-year-olds. Everything builds on a foundation. And if children don't have a good, solid foundation, they're already behind. And they almost never catch up. And so this is why we're just kind of excited today to be able to even discuss this.
Good. And we're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to also hear what some of our Facebook friends had to say about some of the things they're already doing to ensure their children are raised with good self-esteem. And one thing, everybody out there, that I think you'll be surprised about is some of the things we're doing that we think will really raise good self-esteem in our children does not do that. And that's why we're going to discuss both the do's and the don'ts so that we can correct some of this miseducation we have about how to really get kids who have that great self-esteem we're looking for. We have babies who are in the pre-K program. They're in Head Start. And I have 2 stars from those programs. I have Dr. McClendon here with me and Mr. Lovelace. And they are going to be able to tell us not only about the structure of the programs, but also how you may be able to get your child enrolled into the program very soon. Now, you all are about to have a membership drive, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that?
Well, let me say one
Yes.
other thing before we get to the membership part. I think
Okay.
one of the things we begin to emphasize in our early childhood programs is keeping in line with raising a superstar and children's self-esteem is
Yes.
the social emotional development of that child, and that's so critical in terms of his own self-esteem. And I think
Yes.
it's extending. Not only are we emphasizing it in the classroom and in the programs that we have, but we want to work with parents in terms of them
Yes.
reinforcing those positive type of things that kids do, and not being as critical in terms of directing and doing different things with children. So that's where we
Yes.
are with that. And I want to say that before we get too far in the program.
I like that. I like that you said that. I know I have done a lot of Head Start classroom observations, and I was talking with you earlier saying sometimes I go into the classrooms and I think, oh my goodness, do I get paid for this to come and watch these fantastic children engaging with each other and with teachers? But then we also know there are some children who need help early on. And so I think it's very important that we have that parental training, and we also have programs like this to catch those babies who maybe are going in the direction that would be opposite from the direction we want them to go into. So I'm going to read some of the comments, and we have a lot of great comments on Facebook from our friends about exactly how to raise a child with great self-esteem. This comes from Jennifer. She says, I make sure they have every chance to be accountable to themselves and to experience the taste of natural consequences for their actions. Good job. I say that's a thumbs up. Definitely do that. I make sure that I do not rescue them, for rescuing cripples their development and ruins self-esteem in the long and short run. What are your thoughts about that? Because I know some parents feel like, they own those babies and they don't want them to ever hurt or ever make a mistake. What are your thoughts about that?
I think one point or one fact that she does bring about is we are quick as parents, and even as educators, a lot of times in the past, we've been it's been typical of us to even rush in and give the students an answer. And what we're finding as we have these new higher learning standards or college and career standards that we're asking children to be prepared for, the struggle is important. So it's always important, whether it's with an academic or it's a social and emotional, for you to give children some wait time.
Yes.
Let's back out just a little bit, give them a little bit of wait time, let them struggle with whatever the task is. If they're small, maybe it's just building blocks, or maybe it's zipping up their coat, or maybe it's even tying their shoe. I know I have a 4-year-old at home, and so she wanted to tie her shoe, and I wanted to give her a step-by-step lesson on this is how you should tie her shoe.
Right.
But through the struggle, she was able to really come up with how to tie her shoe on her own with just a few points and suggestions for me.
Exactly.
That was a much better exercise than for me just to teach her step by step. And so I agree with Mom there on her comment that it's good to have some consequences and to give children some opportunity and choices. And then once they've made those choices, let them struggle a little bit.
Yes, because think about this with the the butterflies coming out of the cocoon. They have to struggle to get out of that cocoon, and that's how they develop the beautiful wings we see. So if you go around cutting off cocoons, we're going to have a bunch of wingless butterflies, right? Correct. So we have to allow for that. And so I'm going to get into our stats and facts for today. And of course, our stats and facts are always researched, and in this case, researched very quickly and at the very last minute because I forgot. But Stanley, my super intelligent intern, is always on it. Even if it's in the middle of the night, I get a text saying, hey, do I need to do something? And I thought, Yeah, actually, thank you so much.
Way to go, Stanley. We might
Yes.
have some internship opportunities over in our department, too.
Exactly. Stanley is going into psychology, and he actually wants to develop some music therapy for children. So
cool.
he would be an excellent candidate for you. So thank you, Stanley. Don't take him until I'm done.
Okay. We can share.
Exactly. Well, actually, I would sacrifice for him to do all the things he wants to do. So I'll be crying, but that's okay. So actually, what I asked him to do was to look up some do's and don'ts of raising confident babies. So he looked at what is self-esteem in children. First of all, self-esteem is defined as the way in which an individual perceives him or herself. It is shaped not only by one's own perceptions and expectations, but also by the perceptions and expectations of significant people in one's life. So healthychildren.org lists several indicators of low self-esteem in children aged 5 to 12 years old. And this is important because these indicators could be everyday responses to how your child relates to the world around him or her, or they might occur only occasionally in specific situations. And what you want to look for is repeated behavior. If you see this often, then you know that your child may be struggling with self-esteem. Number 1, your child avoids a task or challenge without even trying. This often signals a fear of failure or a sense of helplessness. Number 2, he quits soon after beginning a game or a task, giving up at the first sign of frustration. Next, he cheats or lies when he believes he's going to lose a game or do poorly. Next, she shows signs of regression, acting baby-like or very silly. These types of behavior invite teasing and name-calling from other youngsters, thus adding insult to injury. Next, he becomes controlling, bossy, or inflexible as a way of hiding feelings of inadequacy, frustration, or powerlessness. And I would call that being a bully, right? Next, he makes excuses like the teacher is dumb or downplays the importance of events. I really don't like that game anyway. We see that often. Her grades in schools have declined, or she loses interest in usual activities. He withdraws socially. He experiences changing moods. He makes critical statements about himself. He has difficulty accepting either praise or criticism. She becomes overly concerned or sensitive about other people's opinion of her. He seems to be strongly affected by negative peer influence, adopting their attitudes and such. And finally, he is either overly helpful or never helpful at home. Those are some signs of children with low self-esteem. So now let's look at children who have high self-esteem. Now, what we want to see is, and this is again from healthychildren.org, and these are some characteristics. Number 1, your child will have a sense of security. They will feel secure about themselves and their future. They will have a sense of belonging. They will feel accepted and loved by others. They'll have a sense of purpose. They will feel like they have a goal or reason for doing things. They have a sense of personal competence and pride. They're proud about what they do. You know, those terrible twos, they're like, no, let me do it. And then they're so proud that they've fed themselves, even though the food is all in their hair. Let them do that. A sense of trust. They feel trust in their parents and trust in their environment. A sense of responsibility for things they do. A sense that they have contributed to things. Like, that's why your kids always want to help you. Even though they don't do a good job, let them continue to do that. Also, they accept mistakes and failures, and they have a sense of family esteem. And I'm not going to read all of this, but if you want to read this very closely, there's a lot of information here, and it comes from healthychildren.org, signs of low self-esteem and helping your child develop a healthy sense of self-esteem. Make sure you go on the website at onthecouchwithdrk.com. So what are your thoughts about some of those signs of low self-esteem, even though we talked about children age 5 and up, and some of our youngsters are 5, but I think we even see some of those in children who are younger than 5.
I think one of the things we've done, and it's been I think a major improvement in the last 15 or 20 years, in terms of children and what they do. Take a child who's into, say, a 5 or 6 year old who's beginning to wrestle or play t-ball, these other type of things. And if you notice, most of these sports now gives a child a certificate of participation. And those who are so tied to this thing think something is wrong with that. Right. But it's not. I think it's too early to try to show defeat and place so much on winning and accomplishing this. It's more important that he tries, that he's involved, and that he's doing things. So that builds self-confidence. And so it's important. It's the same thing if we're doing teaching a child to write or to hold a pencil or to tie his shoes, as Dr. McClendon was talking about, to encourage them. Let them make those mistakes. There's something good to build from those mistakes, because it's helped him internally to say, I can do this myself. And there's more pride in that accomplishment. And that's where you get the self-esteem. And socially, emotionally, we're supporting him by saying, a nice try, that's the way to do it, and we appreciate it.
I really like that, because you want to focus on effort. And that is realistic, because we're not going to win every single thing, nor will we learn everything quickly, but you want to keep saying the important thing is to try your very best and to do your very best. And that way you'll know that you've done a great job and instill that in your child. What were you going to say?
And I think, too, Dr. Streeter, it's one thing that you gave an excellent list there. I think we also need to think about when we do recognize some of those, because you may have a child at home. I know any parent, we don't have a recipe for how we raise our children. Right. And so I think it's important that when you see maybe one or two of those signs, that you very quickly maybe shift your paradigm and begin to react and encourage those children that you have at home. Because a lot of times we send students to school or other places as a safe and wonderful environment, but everybody that's there is not going to be on their team and winning or encouraging the effort, as you said. And so when you start to see those little signs at home, I think it's very important that you do things to counterbalance those.
Yes, I agree. I really like what you said there. In fact, Carl, from one of our Facebook friends, says, as a father, it is my job to let my children know I love them.
I like that,
and
Carl.
That is so important, that unconditional positive regard, that unconditional love. You're about to say something, Mr. Lovelace?
No, it seems strange. I have a grandson that's 6 or 7. It's terrible. But anyway, one of the things that my family have done a lot of in the past has been wrestlers, and we do high school and grade school this type of wrestling. And so he started wrestling this year. He's in Nebraska, but and his mother is taking him every Saturday and Sunday, even to the point where I said, "Well, seemingly y'all missing church now." But anyway, every weekend he's gotten this certificate, because he's never done it before. Then he finally won. And when it was not important, I think I'm probably more happier about that than he is. But he finally won a match today, and he called to tell me about it. And I said, that's good. As long as you're enjoying it and you compete in it, it makes sense.
Right, exactly.
And so I can see how he has grown just doing that over this last 4 or 5 weeks, versus him not caring too much for t-ball and football and this other type of things during the other times, things that she took him to. But it's important to have them involved in something that you can lead them towards. So
I agree. In fact, I have another person on here, Sandra, who says that you have to encourage them in their strengths and support them to develop their weaknesses.
Great.
I think that's
excellent.
really good. I have some very smart listeners.
I see.
That's why I put questions out to them, because they are able to give a lot of great feedback and a lot of information. And a lot of times we know the answers internally as parents, but we may not be acting on it. And what I'm seeing a lot of times is, even though we know our children need to learn how to do it on their own, we're so busy, we don't have time to let them. We're just like, let me tie your shoe. Let me zip your coat. Come on here. We need to go. And sometimes, we have to figure out how we can create that time to let children be children, make mistakes, and grow. And I feel like I need to call you Mr. Loveful, because you sound like you're full of love, not less love. So you had a comment.
No, just loveless is fine.
Okay.
I mean, that's so great. I think instinctively parents know a lot too.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we get caught up in, well, he's not at the same point that Mary was or my other child is. But I think we have to recognize the individuality of that child and where he is. And that's why one of the other things that we do in our early childhood programs is talk a lot about developmentally appropriate. And it's not necessarily age-bound all the time. It's tied into the individual sometimes, too. So we as parents, we as educators, we as concerned individuals, so let's recognize that child, understand where that child is. And I think that's one of the great things that you do in terms when you come out and look at classroom observations. Is this too stimulating for that child?
Right,
how does
exactly.
how he or she fits into the situation? So let us look at the individual first before we take any mass steps towards changing or trying to correct or direct children.
Right. I agree with that. And on that point, we will be right back after these messages. You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K. Are you considering buying or selling a home and don't know where to start? Call Sharon Brown of Cry-Like Realtors at 901-355-7271. To learn more about the services offered by Sharon Brown, visit her on the web at www.sharonbrown.cry-like.com or like her on Facebook today. Her success comes when your home is sold or you have the keys to your new home. Call Sharon Brown of Cry-Like Realtors at 901-355-7271 for all your real estate needs today. Karen Streeter Psychological Consulting is a firm dedicated to helping parents, schools, churches, and organizations assess and treat learning, emotional, and behavior difficulties in children. We offer services such as IQ testing, academic testing, behavior analysis, behavioral planning, preventive counseling, parent training, staff development, professional development, crisis management, and risk assessments, and so much more. To enrich the lives of your children, call Karen Streeter Psychological Consulting at 901-650-2569 or email me at kstreeter5@aol.com. All right, and you're back. You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K right here on AM 990 Talk Radio, KWAM, and we're asking the question today, how can we make our babies stars? How to raise kids with great self-esteem, looking at the do's and the don'ts. And before we go into some of the don'ts, I want to just talk about a really, really good do. I have Ron here from Facebook who just really paints a wonderful picture about what happens in his home with his children. He says, as a father of 3 beautiful kids, my wife and I work together to ensure we provide them a healthy home life to begin their positive emotional journey. We tell our kids we love them every day, morning and evening. We begin celebrating academic successes at an early age. We highlight the internal and external beauty of them all. And ever since they could speak, we have always taught them to communicate with their words versus nonverbals so they can articulate themselves when happy, sad, frustrated, or mad. In closing, my wife has created a nightly ritual with our kids that goes, quote, "Good night, sweet dreams, you're the best than all the rest. We love you."
Dr. Streeter, that brings
Yes.
kind of a smile to my face. And so I don't know how you measure what is successful. I don't know.
Right.
I think sometimes with success, for me, it is how many people am I changing or impacting their lives in a positive way.
Yes.
And in thinking that, it reminds me of my own personal story. And my father, just listening to what he posted there on Facebook. And my dad never said you can't. Or he always said, how could you do that?
Right.
Or sometimes even when I thought about, oh, that's going to be so much work, or it's going to be so hard, or maybe I don't want to move 8 hours from home and go to school, he would say, well, why not?
Exactly.
You could absolutely do it. You know, I can think of some crying conversations in some school settings that I had with my dad, and he'd say, "You're just as smart as all those other kids. You get in there and show them what you know." And I come from that's what we were talking about before the show. I come from a really small, very rural town, less than 10,000 people.
Okay.
And so to think that I would have an opportunity to work here for Memphians and for the children here in Shelby County and provide good programming for them in early childhood, you know, it always makes me think of what my dad said, and kind of goes along with your topic. If you shoot for the moon and you fall, you land among the stars.
Excellent.
And so this really resonates with me about building the self-esteem and what other opportunities that they have.
Good. I love that story. I love that story. One thing I want to point out, however, is about expectations, because I find that some parents believe that, you know, they say, well, I tell them I only expect the best. I'll only take the best. They have to be the best and do the best at everything. And they believe that's instilling high self-esteem in their children. And I see you're frowning, Mr. Lovelace.
I just had a thought I want to share.
Okay,
No,
yes.
go ahead.
All right. Well, I just believe that you have to set realistic expectations.
Exactly.
You have to set realistic expectations for yourself and for your child. But if your child sets high expectations, support them in that.
Correct.
If they want to do all of that, you support them, but then you also know in your heart what your realistic expectations are. And sometimes that really can damage children who maybe they're not an A student, but they're a very good solid B. And if that's what their potential is, and it's never accepted, that creates a hurt that is really hard to erase. So sometimes as a parent, we have to really start looking at what we are accepting and what we are expecting from our children, and not compare them to others, as you were talking about earlier. Go ahead.
And first of all, that was not a frown. I'm not sure why.
Well,
Why am I so animated?
thinking about it. That's good.
But one of the things that I thought about, I'm not sure a lot of our listeners, the viewers probably are looking at Empire as it goes along there. And you look at how these kids were raised. Now, they're probably going to, I'm not sure what the end results of this program is going to be. But they're probably going to be stars and these other type of things. But he raised them in such a competitive nature that they do not respect each other and they're at each other's throat. And that type of thing. Yeah, while you might be a star.
Right.
And probably in those circumstances, that's an aberration rather than the norm in terms of raising children. So you have to be very, very careful. We want to, yes, we want to have those expectations. As we're talking about, let's let the child have the expectations.
Yes.
And as the story is moving along, you're seeing now that it's becoming perhaps their personal expectations and not their father's that they're dealing with. So let's watch that. And I think that we can get some understanding from that program in terms of what's happening in terms of raising children.
What to do and what not to do.
Exactly. And just let you all hear, although that was a shameless plug for Empire, for which I will be charging you $20, we are in no way connected with Empire. Although I do personally watch it. I'm kidding, but I'm not going to charge you $20 today. But yes, I really agree with that, especially that comparison. When you start comparing your child to other children or to brothers and sisters, now you're setting up resentment, and you are discounting their unique abilities.
There you go.
Right.
Exactly.
Why can't you be, a girl like your sister? Why can't you be girly like her when maybe this girl is more athletic? Mm-hmm. You need to embrace her athleticism and not compare her to her sister who may be very dainty, or why can't you play ball like your brother, that sort of thing. That's really hurtful.
And Dr. Streeter, sometimes I think in academic world, we think that the only career path is that you are a rocket scientist.
Right.
And I think I pay the lady who does my hair lots of good money.
Yes.
She probably makes more money than I do to cut my hair.
Right.
And so I think a lot of times we forget that there are a lot of pathways
Yes.
to be successful and
Yes.
to give back to your community
That
and
is
be
very, very true.
just a good citizen. And we forget so many times. We think it's always about the A student.
Yes.
I don't think it's always about the A student.
That is very, very true. As a school psychologist, we look at all different types of intelligence. Although people focus on that academic intelligence, sometimes having that emotional intelligence is very important. And then you may also have kinesthetic intelligence, where you're really good with your hands and your eyes and knowing how to put things together and take things apart. There are all different ways to really be intelligent. And oftentimes I tell parents, listen, intelligence is kind of like what you're born with. And the only way somebody can really affect that is if they lock you in a closet and in the dark for years and years. But in general, if you are in whatever area you have intelligence, that will shine through. And we have to embrace all of that, because just like some people who do hair who make lots of money, and I do too. My sister makes lots of money, and she's actually on both ends because she's an instructor as well as a stylist and a salon owner. But I know people who own trucking companies,
Exactly.
who are naturally very intelligent. They make a good living.
Diesel
Plumbers
mechanic,
yes, all of
yes.
these people who, are probably kind of laughing at some of us sometimes. So not to discredit being academically smart, but we need to embrace all of those different areas.
There's a bestseller out there now in terms of calling Strength Finder.
Yes,
And
Strength Finder.
And it refers back to building from the strength that child has.
Yes.
And you can recognize early on. You can see some strengths in children at 2 and 3 years of
Exactly.
age. So you build from that strength,
Yes.
and you begin to build a better person.
Right. And you know what? Sometimes people are confused about what a strength is. It's usually whatever they're doing that's getting on your nerves. That's probably a strength. They're banging on pots and pans. They're going to be a drama. They're running around. They're going to be an athlete. Were you about to say something?
Mr. Lovelace mentions the novel or the book Strength Finder, and that's one really good concept in that book. It says sometimes you shouldn't work on all the things maybe you don't do well.
Right.
Might be a little bit better to capitalize on the things that you do
do
well.
Exactly.
Because the things that you don't do well, you can
buy somebody to do it for you.
And be
You make enough
compensated
money.
for what you really do well.
Exactly.
And so that was, but I do like what you say, Howard Gardner.
Yes.
He talks about multiple intelligence
Yes,
and
he
those
does.
6 or 7
Right.
multiple intelligences that you referred to. And so they're there. Sometimes we just have to
find what they
have
are.
to look up. One beauty of our marriage, we are Shelby County Schools is the new Head Start grantee.
Right.
And one beauty of our program is Head Start does a phenomenal job about social and emotional growth and encouragement with our students. And as a school district, we think we kind of know what you should be doing in academics. So it's a beautiful marriage between Head Start and our school district, because we feel like we're going to learn the social and emotional side and make sure that our children are getting that from what our Head Start people have learned and through trial and error over the last 50 years. Because I'm shamelessly plugging the 50-year anniversary for Head Start.
Hey, I'll let you do that one because I work with Head Start, so I'm not going to charge myself. So go ahead and plug.
And then as academic people, we know the intelligences and how to bring that side out in students. So we're really very, very excited to be working with Head Start and voluntary pre-K. And as you say, people here in Shelby County actually believe in early childhood programs. I know the Shelby County Commission and Mayor Luttrell, they actually gave us about $3 million to open additional classrooms. Right. I know there's talk, if there is any extra money in the budget, maybe we would get a little bit more. I know sometimes people say, well, I don't know, maybe it's free babysitting.
Not what I've seen.
And not what you've seen.
Not what I've seen in the classes at all.
Because we have a lot of rigor. And I think that we have to, as a Memphian, and I will admit, I'm a transplant, but I've been here over 11 years now. So doesn't that count?
We'll let you in.
We'll let me be a Memphian. I think that to have a great city,
right, you
have to have great education that starts out with a great foundation. Right. And then I have a shameless plug for reading. I think you have to have great libraries. Any city
agree.
Has great education and great libraries.
Good. We're going to go to our caller. We have a caller. Hi, caller. You're on the couch with Dr. K. You have a question or a comment?
Yes, this is Ron Lewis. Can you hear me?
Hi, Ron Lewis. How are you? Yes, go right ahead. So glad you called in.
Hey, thank you. I'm doing well. I heard you read my comment. I just wanted to chime in if I could.
Yes, please do.
Very interesting conversation you guys are having today. And I just, in addition to what obviously I posted on Facebook, I wanted to just chime in when you guys got to talking about effort and really where you support your kids. One thing me and my wife also try to do is really we challenge our kids to do their best.
Okay.
Not necessarily our best, their best. Like, when you think about kids, all kids excel at different rates, if it's academically, if it's in sports, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But as long as they are maximizing their own personal effort, and that's really all you can ask for, in our opinion,
right,
as parents, right? So,
good opinion.
I'll use my oldest son as an example. He's a sophomore at Morehouse, and he struggled academically. He graduated from Houston High School, and but the thing was, he wasn't picking it up necessarily in class, so we invested in a tutor for him. So that helped him outside, and he was able to catch up, but he wasn't able to keep up in class. So we had to do something different rather than making him feel as a failure because he couldn't get it through the hours of school.
Right.
We had to do something different.
Right. Exactly. I love that. I love that you said that because you have to really focus on the development of that particular child.
That's exactly right. And I think as parents, we just have to really be there to really give our kids productive environments and, more importantly, encourage them to really do their best. And if they're maximizing and doing their best, we have to accept that. We have to accept that.
Wow. Thank you so much for calling in. You have really brought it home for us, and I hope you call in again. And I really appreciate your comment, Mr. Ron Lewis.
Hey, thank you. You guys take care. Great conversation.
Thank you. And call in again, okay?
Will do. All
right. Well, he has brought us right up to our 4-point star. Yay! I love the 4-point star. Yay! And our 4-point star for today is self. Let's say that together.
Self.
And let's spell it. S-E-L-F. Thank you. Self. Yes, self. That's right. Okay. So S, stop doing everything. Allow your child to develop autonomy. They need that. They need to know how to do things themselves. Stop rescuing all of the time. E, expectations should be realistic. And make sure you praise effort, not always mastery. L, leave comparisons alone. Stop comparing Susie to Suzette. Stop comparing Johnny to Jonathan. Everyone is a unique individual. You need to compare your children to themselves. Look at their personal growth and their strengths and weaknesses from year to year. And F, forever show unconditional love and positive regard, because that is where self-esteem begins. Self-esteem begins with a good foundation in the home, with parents or whomever is raising the children saying, I love you. All parts of you, doesn't matter who you are or where you go or what you do. I love you just because you are you. And that is our 4-point SAR for today. Self. S-E-L-F. Self. Yay. Okay. Wow. Do we need another break? Did we do 3? Okay, great. All right. So we're almost at the end here. So before we move forward, I like to give everyone 10 seconds to shine. So you both get 10 seconds to say whatever you'd like to say to kind of wrap us up. And we will start with you, Dr. McClendon.
I'd like to encourage you, it's not even if you have a 4-year-old or 3-year-old in your home, but if you know of a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, we're going to be screening beginning March the 2nd. Please look on scsk12.org, pre-K/Head Start for our screening schedule. Please encourage your neighbor, your church member, whoever you know that has a child that is 3 or 4-year-old to come out and register either at a Head Start location or a school location, and that information is there on the website.
Great. Now tell us what screening means, because I'm sure some parents don't know what that is.
We actually do our own enrollment process, and so we make sure you come in, the child's had their immunizations, they've had their physicals. We have to, because some of our classrooms are based on economic need, we ask parents to bring in those particular economic items as well. All the things they need, birth certificates, shot records. There is a list of all the things they'll need to bring to screening for enrollment. Great. Actually on that website link.
Good. And so can I have some of that and put on my website? Yes. So you may also go to On the Couch with Dr. K and find those things as well. Thank you. 10 seconds to shine, Mr. Lovelace.
First of all, let me ditto what Dr. McClendon has said in regards to enrollment, screening, and recruitment so that we can begin next year ahead of the pace. But one of the things I want to say to families, to parents, to fathers especially, is it's important that we as families get engaged in our children's life. I think a lot of the things that we see later on in life can be prevented just by us showing love and caring and being devoted to the type of things children do. And so one of the things we hope to spearhead in the very near future is a strong family engagement component in which we are getting parents involved, not only in terms of the academic rigors of their child, but their self-esteem, their emotion, and those other type of things that's important that fathers and mothers participate with their kids and significant others.
All right. Okay. Good job. I appreciate that. And, I like to, as always, in parting, I want to wish you a life full of love, peace, and happiness. Remember, if you cannot be in love, at least try to be happy. If you cannot be happy, then at least try to be peaceful. But when your peace has been disturbed, then it's time for you to change your situation. So thank you so much for listening. You've been On the Couch with Dr. K. We've been talking about how to make your baby a star, increasing self-esteem in our little ones, the do's and the don'ts, right here on KWAM AM 990 Talk Radio. We will see you next Sunday on the radio. Remember to like us on Facebook and go to our brand new website, onthecouchwithdrk.com. Let me tell you, our website is phenomenal now. Stanley Shotwell, my super intelligent intern. Hi, Stanley. He has done a phenomenal job both on the website and on our new videoing of the actual shows. So you'll be able to see this show in the upcoming week with just a clearer picture and better shots. I mean, he is awesome. So thank you so much. If you have questions or ideas and you want to reach me personally, give me a call at 901-650-2569. I'll take a call or a text. So have a great afternoon and have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you for listening. Great show.
Thank you.
All right. Yay. Bye-bye, everybody. See you later.